Hi there. Got something interesting today. So for Christmas, I had to do something for my mother, the person who has everything, including the best son on the planet. I didn't really know what to do and was kind of scratching my head, thinking, what can I do that would be fun? Well, she came to visit around Thanksgiving, and at Thanksgiving, we spent a lot of time cooking. I love to cook for Thanksgiving, and those of you who have been here are very aware of how much I love to cook for Thanksgiving. So she kind of became my sous chef for Thanksgiving this year, and even took off and did some things on her own that were just brilliant, absolutely wonderful. And I know she loves cooking. I love cooking. We've both enjoyed cooking for decades. So what I decided to do was give her the gift of learning how to do it for real, but also to do it with me. I wanted to learn more about how to cook. She wanted to learn more about how to cook. My knowledge is limited to the little bit I got decades ago. So I figured what we would do was go to masterclass.com. Yeah, that's it, masterclass.com. And they have a class there by Gordon Ramsay. Gordon Ramsay teaches how to do everything in the kitchen, even including how you set it up if you're building your own or remodeling your own kitchen, to which knives to choose or how to choose a good knife, how to choose a good pan. One of the first cooking assignments we got to, so the first couple were just who he is, where he comes from, how he got to where he is. Interesting to learn, to know how he developed. And it really all led into the first cooking assignment, which was using the parts most people don't use. So if you think of, he tells a story about how, I believe it was Joël Robuchon, how he got to his restaurant and he had become used to using just the finest little bit of the fish in the middle, but when he got there, oh no, they use the tail, they use the head, they use, everything gets used. And that applies equally to the vegetables in the kitchen. So we're not just stuck using the little bits of whatever that we know, like the carrot itself, and chopping it up and dicing it into little bits, but actually using it in a different way, taking all those greens and using those. So this assignment was about using the greens as well as roasting the vegetables. So I'm going to take what he started with, and I decided to expand it a little bit because while I was shopping, the words in his in his lesson got into my head, and I started thinking about other interesting ways to help expand what he had already done. So that's what this is about: is taking these vegetables and roasting the vegetable part that you're used to seeing, but making a pan fry or a pan sear or whatever you want to call it of the greens of those vegetables. So let me show you what I got. Come on over here. Okay, so we're going to start out with a little bit of a cheat. One of the first things I saw was these really interesting porcini mushrooms. They're really nice. They have a wonderful smell to them, very earthy, very rich, kind of an edge. I love the porcinis for their texture and their flavor. So I got some porcini mushrooms to put in this too. I have not yet decided if I'm going to put them in with the greens or if I'm going to put them with the roasted vegetables. So I decided I would like to use some avocado oil. And I think he said he wanted to use olive oil, but I wanted to try the avocado, see how it was. And then I've also got some balsamic vinegar. The vegetables that he mentioned were beets, and I have some golden beets here. I'm not a big fan of beets, never really ate them, but I'm going to give this a try. But look at these greens. I mean, these greens are pretty cool. And I got a little bit of ugly there, but honestly, I think I can make something really nice out of these greens. Then he also mentioned carrots. So I found these really interesting maroon carrots. I think they're going to be fantastic. And I look at these greens and think, oh wow. So yeah, I got a little bit again, this little gross stuff here, but I'll trim that out. But all these greens are going to be really wonderful. And I went even one step further, and I found, while looking for carrots, this. This is actually parsley root, with, of course, parsley on the end. I think that's going to be a really interesting addition to this. So, let me start out, get this other stuff off my chopping board. Oh, and I have some nice pepper and some good sea salt. Just refilled that, so ready to go. And cook up some nice, wonderful greens. This will be interesting to see how it comes out. For the holidays, my mother gave me a really nice set of knives. She actually gave it to me for Thanksgiving, or at Thanksgiving, because of all the cooking we do. But she wanted me to have these for when we were cooking. Now this is a really nice one. I had some nice knives before, but this was kind of an upgrade. I was sort of kind of casually looking at knives. This one, nice handle, fits well, good weight, good balance. I really like this one. So we're going to start off. I've already washed my greens out of these, so I'm just going to take this, flop it on over here, and give it a crunch. About right there, I think should be fine. And oops, dropped some on the floor. Dropped more on the floor. This is karma telling me I really don't want these, right? I don't know, we'll see. All right, so throw these away. Now that I've touched the trash can and the floor. Another quick wash of the hands. Okay, so that would be my beets. Those are good and ready. And then my carrots. These beautiful maroon carrots. Never seen these before. I hope they are actually carrots, because sometimes things have a similar name but are not the same. So anyway, let's cut those off about right there. That'll work. And then this parsley. So my fear is when I cut up this parsley, so if I had 4, let's do 4 and 4. I'm gonna take 2 of these out. So my fear is this is a lot of parsley and it's gonna taste too much like parsley. Could happen, I don't know, but we're gonna cut them and see. So those have already been washed. It's just the roots that I need to give a good scrub before I put those into the broiler. So there we go. Everything good to go, ready and happy. I've got all my stuff right here. So the next thing is to trim it up. So this is a little big knife, a little bit too big of a knife to trim. So let me wash this. Give it a good rinse, good cleaning. Then I will put it back in to its case and grab a smaller paring knife. So my block has sharpeners built in, so I don't need to hit it on the steel every time. So cool. Anyway, so there's our parsley, and our parsley looks pretty good. You know what would be better for this? Scissors. I have some. Came with scissors, so I'm going to chop out this kind of gross stuff. What else do we have here? Anything else gross? Yeah, that's a little gross. That's a little bit gross. Trim it out. What else do we have? Anything else in the parsley? The parsley otherwise looks pretty decent. All right. So there we go. The parsley is good. Put that over there. Take a look at my carrot tops. There's a little bit there. Don't need that. So the appearance is he took the stems too, where possible. All right, so that's pretty decent. I think I got all the good stuff there. And then for my beets, there's a bad one. So this one I'm just gonna tear it out like this. Just let that go over there. There we go. Here's another little bad piece. Let's just take that whole top off. Take that out. Okay. There's a little more. And what else we got? A little bit there. So a little bit there. I think we're almost there. We're really close. So I did already wash these. You can see they're wet, nice and damp, but I gave them a good washing. Just wanted to make sure I got all the gross bits out. A bit there. So, don't necessarily want to eat that. I'm not sure it'll taste good, but I think the rest will be really nice. All right, so those are good to go. That's my discards, and that should be good. Okay, cool. Got a little cross-contamination going on here, but it doesn't matter because I know I'm eating it all. So anyway, now let's get to the business of cutting. So I should probably go back to this knife. So here we go. I'm going to take these, all of them, and just kind of give them a nice crunch there, crunch there. A couple of inches each, about 1.5 inches, call it 4 centimeters for those of you on new money. So there, that should be about right. So that looks pretty decent. Should probably trim down these mushrooms too. So let's take this stuff, put it over there. Looks like I need a bigger chopping board, doesn't it? Let's take a little bit of mushroom there. There's a little more. There we go. Trim that down. Trim that. You could probably trim these a whole lot easier. I just broke them. Yeah, actually that is easier. These are dried mushrooms, but they will reconstitute fairly well when they start cooking with all that oil and all the juices that come out of this. It's going to be really nice. All right, so there we go. Some mushrooms, add a little bit more of an earthy flavor. So I know, well, I believe I'm going to get a little bit of earthy flavor out of the tops of the beets. So the beet tops, which is this, should have hopefully some of that earthy flavor from the beets themselves. So there we go. All right. So that is all good, about the right size. All right, cool. So I'm done basically with my chopping and cutting. They're cut to decent sized pieces. That's actually gonna melt down a little bit as I cook them. We'll see what happens with these. Interesting flavor. I like that. Wow, which one was that? I think that would be the parsley root. Parsley root, yeah, that's the stem of the parsley root. Tastes like parsley. Imagine that. A little more bitter, but I've got a little bit of balsamic vinegar for that. All right, so that's all ready to go. Basically, I'm going to take the olive oil, heat it up, dump these in the pan, dump these in the pan after that, and then sprinkle it with a little bit of balsamic vinegar, and I think that'll be done at that point. So let's give that a shot. Okay, so now on to the cooking portion of our show. I've done all the prep work. That's all over here. Need to turn on some heat here, so let's get this going nice and hot. Get a little heat on our pan. Right now it has no heat at all, as you can see. Never tested that way unless you absolutely know, of course. So get a little heat in there. I've got my avocado oil that I'm going to use. That'll be the first thing to go in there. Then let that heat come up. It is on high. I hope it is correct to cook it on high. So let's see. Here we go. Starting to feel some, most of the heat's coming around the edge. But actually there's a fair amount coming out of there. So good. Now the recipe, I think as I mentioned before, called for olive oil, which I have some very nice olive oil, but I'm not going to use it for this. I wanted to use the avocado oil because I am interested in the flavor it's going to bring out. I think the avocado oil with the little bit of bitterness in the greens is going to really help to smooth it. I hope. We'll see. I could be completely wrong. And then the balsamic vinegar on top of that. So here we go. All right, feeling a little heat on there. Yeah, good. I'll take a little bit of this oil, put it in there. Good, nice. Maybe a little more. Looks like I'm a little bit off center there. So apparently we're supposed to wait for this to get a little bit of a sheen on it, which means it's just starting to get hot enough. Looking good. I think so anyway. Still feeling a little heat, that's good. So what do you think? Should I put the mushrooms in first and let them soak up? Or should I put the greens in first? I'm thinking mushrooms. I'd like them to soak up some of that oil. That might be a good idea. So let me go ahead and do that. I'm going to put these mushrooms in. And let them... Yeah, see we got some heat there. Good, that's nice. Got a little bit of greens going in there too, which is fine. Turn down the heat a little bit. It's starting to pop on me. Now, my understanding is the popping comes because there is water in something. Which is a little bit of surprising out of dried mushrooms, but could be. All right, so now let's start to take these greens. Now, this is probably enough to feed an army. I don't know. Woo! Pop, 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 sizzle. Yeah, baby. You go. A little more in there. A little more. Right. Right, so sizzle down. I have a ladder cover that I like to use. The situation is just like this. Alright. Put those stalks in there. We'll probably cut those stalks down. What do you think? It's going to be a knife and fork kind of meal. And it is noisy. Yeah. Oh, look at that. Look at the color. Oh, that's gorgeous. I love that color. Wow, that's super deep green. The darkness of those mushrooms coming through. Wow, that's fantastic. And let's drop that heat a little bit. Now I'm a little bit below medium. Oh man, I wish you could smell this. Wow. That is a wonderful scent. Man. Okay. So I almost want to throw some wine on that, but no, I think that's probably going to destroy it. Maybe I'll drink some wine with it. Little Justin, the Cajun cook, Justin, what's his name? You're probably all screaming his name at me right now because you know who he is. Alright, so that cooked down very nicely. Yeah, I should have trimmed those, no doubt. Look at that. Yeah, those are way too big. But, it's alright, it'll be a little knife and fork thing going on. Let's see. How about I add a little bit more. Oh, no, just add some salt here. Some salt in there. So I read, I believe it was Mario Batali, was saying one of the biggest differences in the flavor of food in a restaurant and at home is how much salt he uses, or generally they use in such a kitchen. They use a lot more than we do. Recent studies have shown that salt isn't really as bad as it was once thought to be. Oh wow, that pepper. Now, like Gordon said, you add that stuff at the end. And I think he was really referring more to the herbs, but this is all herbs. So I add a little salt and pepper at the end. Now I'm going to add a little bit of my balsamic vinegar. Got a little bit of that bitterness. There we go. Oh yeah, little acidic, sweet smell coming through. Nice. Oh, cooked it down. That looks fantastic. Really darkened everything up. Kind of made it all the
interesting color. I wonder if I cooked it less if it would have been better. But I think that's pretty good. So I'm going to try it. Let's see how it works out. Yeah, let me give that a shot. See how it tastes. Okay, so here we go. My plate. Let's see how this is. I don't think it's going to be nearly as good as what I had hoped, but that's okay. I'm willing to give it a shot here. Love these plates, by the way, these black and white plates. They're kind of cool. So, all right. Like I said, I'm going to need to trim that a little bit. Let's get a little bit of that, a little bit of that. Let's say a mushroom in there too. Did I get everything? I don't know if I got everything. There, looks like I got everything in that one, so. Not too bad, actually. That makes pretty decent lunch. What would I do differently? I think some sesame seeds on it. What else? Maybe a little less vinegar? I don't know. It's really good. I've got the earthy taste of the mushrooms, which are excellent. The stalks aren't that bitter. They're not bitter at all, really. That tastes really good. That's an excellent little lunch right there. The mushrooms have a meatiness to them that make it a little, it gives a different texture. It adds a texture to this and adds a flavor. I think the mushrooms were a really good idea. The mushrooms were definitely a good idea. So to improve next time, these stalks should be trimmed. Sorry, hopefully that wasn't too loud for you. The stalks should definitely be trimmed a little smaller. A little less balsamic vinegar, but not that bad. What would be interesting is taking about half of what I served here. So what I made was enough for two. So using half as a base, and then I think a roast chicken. Take the breast meat. I would roast it with rosemary. So I live in Texas, and we have rosemary. Seriously, I walk the dog, and I have my choice of rosemary. Just like Gordon's story of how he would pick from the gardens of all the people who would visit his restaurant. So I can go out, get some rosemary while I'm walking the dog, bring it back, wash it off, make a really nice roast chicken, and then put a couple of nice slices of the roast chicken breast right there, or maybe some of the thigh, so some thigh and some breast, kind of laid across it. That would be a really nice plating. I think the difficulty in the plating here is the white plate. The white side, I had too much vinegar, which I think is giving us a little bit too much of the brown there. I could be wrong. Let me know if you think otherwise. But I think this would be a beautiful base for that chicken. So with the rosemary on the chicken, doing it the way you take the stem and spear it through, and then a couple of minutes before the end, put the flowers or the leaves on it and let that, oops, don't go away here. Flowers or the leaves on it for the last few minutes of baking, and then bring it out, let it rest, and carve it and put those pieces there. That would be brilliant. That would be absolutely brilliant. So anyway, thank you, Gordon, for such a great idea on using parts that we never use. I think I'm going to finish my lunch. This is really good. Okay, quick update. I forgot to do anything about the roasting. So Here I've got my roasting started. As you can see, I've got my beets, and I did put the mushrooms in there. Just broke them up a little bit. So I have the beets, mushrooms, the carrots, those interesting maroon carrots, and the parsley root. So I have all those in there. I've set my oven to 350 degrees. That's Fahrenheit. Now I'm covering this up, just like that. It is at 350 now. So I'm going to take it, drop it in here. So I don't know how long this is supposed to bake or roast, but we'll see. I'm guessing probably half an hour-ish. I'll try again, see how it works. If it is less than half an hour, it'll be overcooked. If it's more than half an hour, well, I'll put them back in and see. But I also thought what would be really interesting is I was talking about putting roast chicken on there. I think it would be even better to take all those greens that I just ate, and they were delicious, by the way. I really did end up eating the whole thing. But take those greens and put the roast vegetables on top of it. You'd have yourself a beautiful vegetarian dish. Just all the colors that would be in it. If I cooked it a little bit less and used less balsamic vinegar, it would have a much brighter look to it. But then adding these roast vegetables on top, I think that would be just a wonderful vegetarian, vegan even in this case, dish. So food for thought. Hope you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed making it and the food that I made along with it. Have a great one. See ya. Bye.